finds Churchill. Big numbers left. Sloan decides to kick. Here come the Dragons. Here come the Dragons. Oh my goodness. Who writes this script?
Hey guys, and welcome back to the 7th episode of the Saints podcast. Today, I'm joined by the usuals, Julian, Luca, Alex, Matty, Jackson, and JC. As well, and we have two very special guests. Dylan, or the Leaguie, is here with us today. With a proud
Nice to be here.
Indigenous All-Star, 2010 Premiership winner, played in Origin. It's Jamie Soward. Howie, how are you, brother?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I didn't know I was going to be upstaged by the league. He's doing some really good stuff.
Thanks, Howie. I've got to say, I'm very, very honored to be on a show compared to you as a guest. Like, I mean, be on with you, brother. It's a real honor.
That's cool.
So we'll get started with the questions now, Howie. You obviously started your career in the Canberra, the system. You then went to Sydney Roosters. What about a Red V? What about the Dragons? Did you feel like you wanted to come in? Was that the only club interested in you? Did you have multiple clubs and you chose the Dragons? What about the Dragons intrigued you?
Yeah, I think for me, 07, I'd been at the Roosters, 04, 05, 06, and they had a changeover of coach to Chris Anderson, and I was playing reserve grade, and my story's well known around my conversation with Nathan Brown. They had a few injuries. I think Richie Williams was sort of still up and coming. They had Matt Head had a few injuries and a couple of others, but I went down and met Brownie, had a coffee with him, and then he said, "Would you come across if you got the opportunity?" And I think within 2 weeks I was at the Dragons. So it was a quick transition, sort of one of those June 30th ones, I think. So come across, and for my stepdad and my dad, they were both Dragons fans, or they both Dragons fans. So it was a huge move to go to the club that they've supported. But it was mid-season.
Yeah, now obviously, as I said, you made your debut with the Roosters, but the same week you debuted, you lost your father to a sudden heart attack. How did you balance your emotions in terms of achieving your dream, but also losing someone pivotal in your life? Like, how did you overcome that loss, and how did you balance your emotions? With obviously,
it was. Yeah, and I've sympathised with Cameron and around his loss, and what an effort it was last night to even play, let alone play the way that he did. Dad had a heart attack the morning after my debut, and I was a young man. I was 20 at the time. I just achieved a lifelong dream. I was drinking a beer with Brad Fittler and Luke Ricketson and Craig Wing and all those guys, and then the next morning your world sort of turned upside down. So I didn't know how to handle it. It was 2 weeks of pretty much just chaos in my life, and then found a way through family support to get back out in the field. And I think looking back, that adversity probably shaped me for some of the later challenges in my life. But at the time, it was heartbreaking because I don't know if he watched my last game or not. I don't know. I didn't get to talk to him afterwards because mobile phones back then weren't really too big. So it was a difficult time in my life.
Yeah. So, boys, is there anyone that would like to ask a question first?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah, JC.
Where did you originate your goal kicking routine from? Because I know Gaskell had his obsession with your goal kicking routine, and there's this one video that sits in my mind where he's like walking through it and he's like bounce, bounce, bounce straight over the black dot.
Yeah, so I actually goal kicked sparingly growing up. I didn't really take it too serious, and then when I came to Sydney, I took it pretty serious under Shane Flanagan at the Roosters, and then when I came to the Dragons, I actually went through the yips a little bit and not kicking great. 07, a little bit towards start of 08. So I actually went and met with Graham Arnold and did some stuff with him one-on-one, and he's told me about the principles of, I was walking into the ball and going too slow into the ball without going too deep into it, but going slowly into the ball and bending over and not getting through my action quick enough. So he spoke to me about Ronaldo and Beckham and how they stand over a free kick and how they move into the ball and their chest and follow through and all that kind of stuff. So I adapted I don't even know where the march came from. Yeah, I dropped it when I went to Penrith, so it shows that it was probably a little bit for show, but it just sort of settled me down, and I was able to nail some big kicks with it.
Yeah. Who's next, boys?
I had a
I'll let
go.
I'll let Luca.
Oh, no worries. I had a question for Sally, if that's all right. Obviously we won a premiership with an elite kicker like yourself, and I just wanted to know, to you, how vital is that for our premiership, the Dragons' premiership chances in the future? And have they ever like thought to? And I'm not 100% sure. I mean, if they have used you as a kicking coach previously, but have they ever, thought of bringing back that, that as a reality?
I was a consultant with Anthony Griffin for a little while, doing more back five stuff, and like working with the kickers. But in terms of tactically and stuff like that, I did dabble a little bit, but I wouldn't say like I was at every game because I didn't travel with the squad to be able to do that. Well, I think kicking's really hard at the moment because everyone wants that 10 by 10 cage kick and that percentage play, and sometimes we try too hard for the perfect kick. So I'm looking at, if you're talking about the Dragons specifically at the moment, like I think, is there times where last week against Canberra that they made a different choice and they sort of played a little bit what they saw in front of them and created some chances? I think that probably excited Dragons fans a little bit. I think there's other times when you have to kick early, which we don't see a lot in the NRL as general. We'll probably see everyone trying to copy everyone a little bit and get down to that. And that's how you are going to win games in the long run. But there has to be times where you look up, and I think we saw last night with New South Wales, like there would have been times that if that was a club game, they would kick in behind and try and get the up in the defence of Queensland to hold back a little bit. So you do need an elite kicking game to win. But right now we're seeing Canberra pretty much they only have one kicker. Like you can do it. It's just about using your variation. The thing I like about Fogarty is he'll go with Torpy, and he doesn't matter where it lands. It's a kick chase effort thing. And one thing I've said, doing my podcast this year is it's not the perfect kick. You're just trying to create a contest. I think, fans want that. They want the contest. If you can see Zach Lomax is a perfect example, Eli Katoa, these guys are chasing so hard to create a contest. Well, you can't do that if the kick is not on the money. And sometimes you can't reward the kick if the chase is shit. So sometimes it's a bit of a mix that you got to get right. If the kick's there, you got to chase hard. But if it's not a great kick, you still got to chase hard.
Yep. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah. Jackson.
Go ahead.
Who's going, me or Matty?
Oh.
Jackson,
Who's going?
Bro. Go ahead, Jackson.
Me. Yeah. All right. Sowie, so during the 2010 grand final, who was the player that you guys were just so confident was going to drive the team to get the win? And of course, going down at halftime, what was the vibe like at halftime? Did you guys feel confident that you were going to go out and get them?
I still felt confident at halftime. It was only 8-6. We hadn't played well at all, apart from that opening stanza where Gaz scored. I think we dropped it. We hadn't really gotten through our sets. I'd missed a penalty goal, so it should have been probably 8-all at halftime. But the couple of big plays that stand out is Benny Hornby catching that ball before halftime, because I think about last night and Harry Grant scoring, like 14 you would have been able to get back for New South Wales. It changes the narrative at halftime, but 20 was too much. And for us, like that play just before halftime and us getting into halftime, I think really settled us down. He's such an inspirational leader, and I had a chance to catch up with him last week, and we talked about some of the stuff we went through. And a guy like Benny Hornby, I just loved his selflessness. I love the fact that he let me be me, and we went. I remember back in 08, my first final series, he didn't trust me. He said, "You've been injured. We didn't know if you were going to be able to get back for that game against Manly," and then they get beat against Manly, and then I had to work really hard and earn his trust, which in a way pissed me off, but in another way it made me respect him even more, because that's the school I grew up in, is earning respect. So he was a major part. Dean Young, that leadership group was really special.
Yeah. Dylan, I'm pretty sure. Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, yeah, if I could. Obviously, Sowie, you are a premiership winner under Wayne Bennett. And as fans, we hear a lot about Wayne's greatness, particularly in terms of his man management. But obviously, we don't really get much of an insight into that individual relationship between coach and player. So, what is it, in your opinion, that makes Wayne such a revered manager among his playing groups?
Well, he actually doesn't make it about footy. He lets you be you, but also teaches you how to get consistent in your preparation, your behaviour. One of his favourite sayings is you prep your own time. And when I was coaching, I'd be saying it, like as fans, you guys don't really care what I do during the week as long as we win on Sunday, right? And sometimes that 1% can start to dominate the 99 where you're just so focused in that 1% and you don't have a balance. Well, Wayne creates balance for you so that whether you win or lose, you're trying to get to this even keel. It's a long season. He knows when to push the button, when to train harder. He knows how to push the button to get the best out of you. And I've told the story a million times. 2011, I'd played Origin, played all 3 games, and they were going to drop me out of Origin. We'd lost 4 in a row. I was struggling for confidence. I was struggling to just find that bit of spark. And he said, "We're going to rest you or drop you." And I said, "Okay." I went home with the shits and came back the next day and I told him I was playing and he just smiled and said, "Good, get your boots on." Like, I don't know if he was ever going to drop me, but he has a way of making you feel confident within your own abilities. And the one thing that I caught up with him last week too is like, he doesn't listen to everyone else's shit. When he came to the Dragons, I couldn't tackle, I couldn't do anything. I was just out there to pretty much run around. And he'll tell you, like he made an effort to just look at me for me and look at my strengths of what I could do and try and make them elite, which I felt like he did at the time.
Yeah. Matty, do you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question for Sowie. Sowie, I know you were obviously in a documentary. It was titled "The True Believers," and one thing you said that obviously you were in the club for a little bit long, but you weren't 100% aware of the fact that, about the feeling of what the Chokers tag meant to Dragons fans and the Dragons club itself. But when you see someone, for example, Dean Young, and those emotions he had at full time, the 2010 grand final, hugging his dad and the tears and all that. I just wanted to ask you, how vital of a member was Dean Young to the club? Especially like you look at the prelim final where he made that effort. He was struggling with injuries and came across to force Bo Ryan to put a kick in, and you guys end up going to the grand final. So I just want to know what impact Dean Young had on you and all the other legends of the club had on yourself.
Yeah, well, he's synonymous with the Dragons' history through his dad, Craig. But Dean had battled injuries. I was playing reserve grade in 05, 06 when Dragons had really good, strong teams that probably should have won a comp through then. And that's no disrespect to those guys. But, they'll tell you themselves like they had a really, really good side. And he was battling injuries then. So to be able to get to a grand final in 2010, you're right, that tackle is one of those moments, that people don't really talk about, but it was huge for us. We knew it. His preparation, he just never took anything to chance with his preparation. He was in the sheds an hour before, warming up his glutes and warming up his knee. And like, he just, some weeks he'd hardly train, mate. He couldn't run. So, but he knew how to help execute a plan and he was selfless. And you think about our team versus other teams that have won, like at that time, you guys are probably all a little bit too young, but at that time, like we weren't talked about as like a superstar team, but we had 8 players in Origin in 2011. So like we knew what a good team had to be like. So guys like Youngie, Coops, Bo Scott, Jeremy Smith, like we had some rough riders there that just knew what good team mateship was, and we were all great mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julian, do you have a question?
Yeah, I've got a question. What was it like going from NRL to Super League? Like the transition.
The first time I went was great because I was coming back to Penrith and I knew I had secured a long-term deal there. The second time I was not in a great place mentally or physically, and probably shouldn't have gone over. To be honest, I should have just played out in reserve grade and gone into the media or did whatever I wanted to do. But yeah, the Super League right now, I think, is at a stage where the competition I think is good, but it could be better, and we need to see some of those juniors coming through.
Yeah. Alex, do you have a question?
I had a question about either Origin or sort of Clubland. What do you think is the most underrepresented sort of aspect of football and football life as someone who played an illustrious career yourself?
Yeah, great question. This might offend some people, but whatever. A lot of people, a lot of females and males that play the game, they don't love it. They like the lifestyle of being an NRL player, an NRLW player. They like the free stuff. They like the fact that they get all the gear. They don't love it. I love rugby league. And I say to young kids all the time, if you love it, it will give back to you for the rest of your life, and you'll find a way to stay involved. I watch 6 games every week. I'm doing this podcast because I'm going to watch NRLW. Like, I genuinely love rugby league, and now that I'm outside the bubble, I probably love it even more because you know the ups and downs that players are going through, and I'm still coaching the female Samoan side, the Fetu Samoan side, for the next 2 years. So I've got to watch that. But if I had to put it down to a sentence, lifestyle versus loving it, and that's okay. There's going to be people that love the lifestyle and they love just getting money and cruising, but the people that love it, man, they hang around forever, and it's really cool.
Yeah. JC, you said you wanted to ask one more question quickly.
Yeah, just one more question quickly. And I know I speak on behalf of a lot of Dragons fans because you would have been like a lot of Dragons fans' idols growing up. I tried to base my rugby league game around you, and my question to you is, who was your idol growing up? Like, who did you try and base your play style around?
Um, I didn't really have a stop. I didn't really have anyone, to be honest. I loved watching Wally Lewis. I loved watching, I just loved footy. I loved watching footy. I was never out the back. Um, I got a Blues jumper when I was 6 that had Soward on it. So I just called myself Soward in the backyard. Like, I know that sounds completely arrogant and egotistical, but I just called myself Soward. Like, I had stuff. The best advice I can give the kids, like, wanting to play, is you got to love it. Go and play touch. Touch football taught me everything: how to count numbers, how to pass, spatial awareness, making decisions, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I didn't really have a style, and that's why I wasn't going to be like Thurston and take the ball deep in line and get crunched. Yeah, but I could kick the ball really, really well. I'd worked hard at that. I was fast and I could pass. And Wayne said, just work on that, and the other stuff you're going to have to get better at. But I was never in the side to make 40 tackles. I was in the side to do other things, and that's what good teams do, or great teams do. Benny Hornby was in the side to steer us around and get us in position, and he knew I was going to do all the kicking. And there was a period there where if there was a tight game, you knew I was getting the ball, and that's okay. Like, that was what I was meant to do. So, I think I just had my own game.
Yeah. Now, Sowie, let's talk about your time as a coach for the NRLW side. I remember getting the notification, and all the boys can back me up here. There was no doubt they were shocked to hear that, the club decided to part ways with you. Someone with that high IQ was extremely passionate at his time with the Dragons. It kind of seemed that you've been stuffed around by this club a couple times. I know, but it's true. 2013, we all know what happened there, and now it genuinely feels like the club has quite frankly done you dirty a couple times. So and which doesn't sit right with me because obviously we all know what happened in 2010. You were the main pioneer to steering us to victory that day. Your kicking game second half was nothing short of amazing. So I want kind of you to talk to me about what happened, where were you when you find out, segueing into that. Will we ever see you involved with the club ever again? So you can decide which question you want to answer first.
Well, firstly, like, I'm not naive to think that results dictated them moving on from me as a coach. When I got gifted the opportunity, I'd never head coached before. I got given a side, took them to the grand final the first year, second year semi-final, and then from then, had to deal with expansion and recruitment and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like we're under-resourced heavily compared to what other clubs had. I was doing the recruiting, I was doing salary cap stuff along with Steve Nelson, who became one of my best mates doing that, and we loved it, but we knew that we were understaffed. I think I found out the day after Father's Day we'd beaten Para by 40, and Ryan and Ben had just called me up for a meeting, and at that stage I'd had deep talks about extension, so sort of took me by surprise that the club had decided to move on. Whatever, yeah, losing games, maybe a personality clash with some players, maybe my style. I have no doubt that stuff is all part of it, and I'm not upset about that. I was more upset about the fact that it sort of took me by surprise because I've been given a program, recruited all these juniors. We're a development club. The Dragons I was told, was a development club. So, for development clubs, what do you need? You need time. And I can't make the competition any longer. I've only got 10 games. So I just felt like I didn't get a fair shake that way. The other part of being a player is, this sounds like sour grapes. I never got a lap of honour.
Yeah.
At the Dragons, which pisses me off a lot. Like, I felt like I earned that. And to this day, even when I retired, I tried to go out there and sit on the hill with fans and just to say thanks. Like, it's not even about everyone like carrying me out like I'm Gladiator. It's more about saying thank you because we'd had a special time together in between 9 and 11. We had 2 minor premierships, a World Cup championship, a premiership. I played Origin in that time. Like, it was a special time. And when I left the club, I was never welcomed back until Anthony Griffin brought me back. And then now I'm at a stage where I won't be attending on Saturday at the game, and that's a personal choice, and that's okay. I'm in a really good space mentally at the moment. I still support. Like, I love Flano. He helped get me to where I was going as a first grader, and some of the lessons that he's learned, and I could still pick up the phone and talk footy to him. But I just felt like there's certain people there that have never given me a fair shake or made me feel welcome at the club. That was on the way out as a player and as a coach. Even coming back as a coach, I've never felt, I've only been to one Old Boys Day, and that was when I was there. And I'm not real hard to get hold of. So, but I've spoken to all fairness, I have spoken to some people, and who knows one day. But at the moment, man, I don't need that stress in my life.
Yeah,
It's a shame, man, because we freaking love you. We always have.
It's not the
a
fans.
shame.
Just know the fans all appreciate what you
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
It's up in the club because I don't know. I always had this theory when they parted ways with you as a coach of the NRLW side, that it's someone up there that's controlling all of this, and it must have been their plan to have you in, get your hopes up. And I don't know, it might not be true, but
I wanted to
it,
I wanted to ask that to Sowie. Who do you think, like, the decision to just sort of isolate the club from yourself? And I wanted to ask, who do you think makes those decisions, and who's up there at the higher ups of the club and with the board? Is it members of the league's club making the decision? Is it supporters? Is it former players like yourself who know the club well? Yeah, who's making who do we think makes these calls? To take that direction as a club that
Oh,
supporters
yeah.
don't like.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I honestly don't care, to be honest. Like, I had a passion for the club when I was coaching the female space, and you can say that I did things wrong and stuff like that, but if you look at my coaching record, I'd only coached 27 or 28 games. That's one season of NRL.
yeah.
We've given. There's been coaches in the NRL that get longer than that to turn the ship
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
So, I just felt like I didn't get a fair shake, and I was passionate about trying to get things in place and develop juniors. And the one thing I've always said is, like, St George. It's St George Illawarra Dragons, and then reserve grade, and then that's it. They go into separate identities. For the club to move forward, they have to go as one, but they won't do that because there's too many people that don't want that to do that. So I'm not going to sit and slag anyone out. I've never been like that, and I never will. But I just think that there's people there that I've never ever rubbed the right way, which is fine. That's cool. I'm who I am. You know, sometimes I say things and people don't like it. I've always been like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
I
I
know.
have a quick question, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So Sowie, obviously, I mean, you had played throughout your career, and now, of course, you are a dad, and I'm a dad as well. So it's an amazing thing having kids. When you go through the process, I just wanted a quick question to ask you is that when you go through the process, whether it be extending your contract with the club or potentially looking at interest at other clubs with you and your agent, what are like the factors that you look at and consider before you make that decision? Like, that's where I want to go, this is where I want to stay.
I think
Is
that
it
was part of the
personal?
reason because I do it myself.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
I'm in those conversations. So yeah, if I don't think I'm getting a fair shake, I'd say I don't think I'm getting a fair shake. It's a really good lesson for people. I think once you know what you're worth, what your value or what your worth is, or your time, whatever like that, and doing stuff yourself. Um, I had offers to go, to other clubs, but I was in extensions talks with the Dragons at the time, or what I thought, and then whatever happens, happens, I guess. But to be fair, like I'm actually in a really good place at the moment. I don't, to be a coach, you've got to be really selfish, and to be a player, you got to be really selfish. And I'm a dad. It's my time to be selfless. So,
I respect that, bro.
whilst it hurts, and I was a little bit embarrassed about how it got done. And the problem was that when they said they weren't going to renew my contract, when a coach gets sacked, the coach gets sacked. And what people don't know is that they wanted me to come back and finish the season. And I left training that day, and then the girls rang me and said, where are you going? We need you. That's different. If it was the boys, they just get on, new coach, whatever. The girls wanted me to come back and finish the season. So I had to eat a shit sandwich to go back and finish the season because I love the girls so much. So I didn't talk to anyone else other than the girls in that squad. I stopped preparing because what am I supposed to do? But I went back for them. Every other coach that gets sacked just leaves, picks up his stuff, goes. And that's what I thought was going to happen. But Bobby Law, Racine, those girls, Juju, like they rang me and said, please come back and finish the season, Tyler. And I was like, why? Like they didn't see it like that. And I said, well, okay, well, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for them, aren't I? So the last couple of weeks was fun with them, but I didn't enjoy going back around the club. And that goes back to my other point, what I said last week. Like, I've spoken to people and people have reached out from the club, which has been nice. But when you don't feel welcome, man, you can feel it straight away.
Yeah,
and I've said I've never felt welcome at the club. And that's not right considering the history we made.
Now, Sowie, I want to say thank you for being on. A lot of the other boys had a lot more questions to ask. I'll message you the questions today, bro. Maybe you could give me a text response for them. But I want to say
I got 10 minutes left just because you've been nice, guys.
yeah, no, all good. But I think there's a time limit on this Zoom call, which is 50 minutes, and there's 1 minute to go. So that's
right. Oh, good.
I'll give you the early mark. Maybe get a few.
Give you the early one.
Early mark.
No, I wanted to say, like, I spoke all jokingly aside, like the passion that Dragons fans have is really cool, and I think every league fan goes through that, and you want your team to win and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Matty will tell you this: when you have a kid, man, it's changes your life, and sometimes probably we need to think about how we do things. So, enjoy being supporting your team, being critical, but also remember the other side of it as well, because one day you might be in that position.
Thanks,
It's the
Alex.
best feeling, bro. It's the best feeling in the world to get
I want to show you something before you go. This is right on top of my bed still, bro. We love you.
Yeah,
Love you,
somewhere in
Jamie.
mine.
Love you, Jamie.
Thanks, boys. Cheers.
Jamie,
Right there.
I'm wearing your
Thank you,
signed
Jamie.
headgear as well.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
We're going to be reviewing State of Origin. Queensland beating New South Wales 24 points to 12. Dylan, where did it all go wrong for New South Wales?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? And obviously, we just spoke to Jamie Soward. There's so much I would have loved to ask him about that game, but ran out of time. But I got to say, like, when we first appointed Laurie Daly as coach for this series, I was a little underwhelmed. You know, my whole childhood was defined by him being coach, and we lost so much.
Yeah.
I do think yesterday there were a number of questionable moments, questionable decisions. Well, I don't want to put the blame, squarely on anyone. There was, 13 guys out there, 17 if you include the bench. It is difficult to look past that. Just so gutted.
Yeah. Julian, what
Oh,
was just in that match yesterday?
Just wasn't good enough. Like the game was all over the joint. Like I don't know what happened. Like that. Let's go back to game 2 and game 1. Like they actually looked decent.
Yeah.
That
And if you
game 2, they made a comeback, and then this game, like they were just all over the joint. Like
well,
I don't even know what happened. Like what we were watching, honestly.
to sum it all up, if Lomax would have got his kicks at game 2, we would be holding the shield. I know,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
at the end of the day, I know it's easy to blame Lomax and that, but that game 3 performance was one of the worst. Like at home in Sydney, a decider, and you put up that crap. Like
Yeah,
Jenny,
same
I
with
cannot
me.
believe my eyes. Like you thought they'll be up for this. The decision to have Stefano, I still don't get. I think you would have benefited a lot more if you had a play like Keon or Terrell. But Matty, what were your thoughts on that match, man?
Disappointing. That was shocking and a complete waste of 80 minutes of my life. I don't know what to say, man. There's just I don't know. Like even when Crichton scored, it just felt like do you know when you score, like you feel like there's hope, but it just seemed like they were deflated at that point. They were exhausted. They were tired. I questioned why Spencer Leniu came on when he did. At that point, I know obviously it's good to sub players on, but it felt like the whole team was just down at that point. I didn't know what they were doing. I just thought it was over from there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Isaiah Yeo play 80 minutes, right? He played 80
He
minutes.
did.
I
Wow.
don't know how I feel about that decision. I can't lie.
I questioned that a
Felt
lot.
like I felt like we needed to change something up, you know. But Isaiah is a great player, don't get me wrong. But is he an 80-minute Origin decider player when it wasn't working? It wasn't working.
I will challenge you on that. Who do you sub him in for? Because if you're Laurie Daly, right, and you're sitting at halftime looking at a 20-0 scoreline, your bench consists of Connor Watson, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, and Stefano. Is it a selection error, or was it purely just could they have found someone on the bench? Could they have moved someone within the squad already? Like,
Well, this
Yeah.
goes back to not having Keon, I think. In my opinion, I think Keon at lock would have been good. I know he's a second row, but I genuinely think as a lock,
But even Connor Watson could have played lock.
Connor Watson
You
can
know,
play
like
lock.
he could have played lock.
He
Like
can
every
do-
yeah. But I think it does come to selection. Selection is the biggest problem.
I want to give a shout out to one Queensland player who has grown on me immensely. At the Broncos, he was shunned upon, and I know Alex is spewing because he had Tom Dearden and let him go. But that was one of the best halfback performances I've ever
He
seen.
killed it. He killed it.
Defensively, offensively, he was genuinely everywhere. You see that try saver. How many times was he on the other side of the field? New South Wales was about to score on the left side, and he scrambled across. His defense was nothing short of exceptional. Shout out to Tommy Dearden because that, as I said, that was one of the best Origin performances of all time that I've seen, at least. Off the back of that, that's up there with. I don't even know. I can't think of.
I don't know. I honestly think. I mean, he deserved the player of the series.
Yeah.
What the Wally Lewis medal? You could tell the way he was playing, especially through all 3 games. It was like he's saying, "You should have picked me to start from game 1.
100%.
I want this more. I'm hungrier than Cherry Evans. Get him out. I want to be there," and he showed it. And do not fair play to him. He was absolutely great, and Queensland deserved the shield. So, congrats to him.
Jackson, do you
Yeah,
think
he's
that
spot
there's
on.
do you think there's a genuine truth to the saying that Queensland have more spirit than New South Wales?
I think that was shown when we banned that walkout. That
Shit.
walkout from the center of excellence to a core is the most ultimate hype thing I think you'll get in State of Origin. It gets the boys riled up, and they walk through all the bloody history and all that. They realize what we actually have to play for going into a game 3. But no, let's just walk out through the normal runway at Accor Stadium like it's not even a home game. Like, honestly, you walk through. I've done that walk before, and it's just history. It's honestly one of the greatest things you'll walk through. And for them to ban that and lose the hype and basically, yes, the spirit of the Blues, New South Wales, that was so poor. Like, it was honestly like one of the worst State of Origin game 3s I've watched them play. It was disgusting. No part of it I enjoyed.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of truth to the fact that Queens have more spirit. The way they go about just themselves, I guess. It's clear as day. It's obvious, that they have more spirit. But Alex, I want to ask you, as a Queenslander, what do you think you did differently from game 1 that impacted the game?
I think there are multiple things from game 1. But if I was to point one thing, I definitely think our scramble defense was something that I would point a lot of our success to. You look, especially on Brian To'o, Tom Dearden, Robert Toyer, that whole sort of right side defense. Even though Tom Dearden's not, normally you don't include the halfback in sort of defensive wrap, but that they shut down Brian To'o, they shut down Latrell Mitchell consistently. And even if you sort of look out, this is something that New South Wales sort of did, was they were very left side centric. I think a lot of that first half was sort of in our end. They didn't really shift up right very much, and when they did, I mean, it was off an overlap. They did score with Stephen Crichton. I think they definitely underutilized the right hand side. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that Queensland improved on.
Now,
Helps to show New South Wales were a bit predictable. I think Queensland just figured them out. That's all it was.
I was calling. I was at home watching with my friend. I was calling what was going to happen before it happened. It was so lackadaisical. It was so predictable what they were doing. It was just. It was overall embarrassing. And I know I'm not whatsoever, Alex. Before you go, I'm not blaming on the refs whatsoever. In fact, I'm going to say both ways. I think both teams had very questionable calls. I don't know if Ashley Klein is the right ref to step up to these big games, because he's shown that. Well, example, Adam G. I feel like he's a better guys. Like, back me up here or don't back me up. Is Adam G?
No, you're right. You're right.
I feel like it's a solid amount of referees. That's
Klein's
better.
like bipolar. He was he was very bipolar yesterday. Like he tried to get New South Wales back in the game, then he went back to Queensland. It's like he's got half jerseys on at one point,
Did anyone see what Josh Kerr said this morning?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Has anybody seen that video?
What did he say?
He was so off his head. He was off his head.
He was black. He was still drunk. But he goes, I was sitting there last night and I was just watching the reffing and I was just like, this is rigged. Like, this is a rorty. We're being rorted because Latrell had a few forward passes to Toto. I'm gonna be honest. Like, there are a few tap-ons that went way too forward. But then there are a few things that Queensland did. Like, it was there's like, I prefer bloody Jared Sutton over Ashley Klein at this show.
I don't know about last game, especially the Dragons game, how much I would agree with that statement. But
honestly,
I agree.
Like, it's just
you know what? Bloody
too fast paced for Ashley Klein now.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about Cleary here. He had much as an impact as Jacob Kiraz as 18th man.
Nothing.
I feel like
seriously, he offered nothing.
I feel like Luai and Cleary, they've won 4 premierships together as a halfback.
But when get rid of that,
when it comes to Origin, it feels like it doesn't click as smoothly as does at club level. But I don't want to blame it on them. Like there's some like Lomax had a shocker. He did.
Yeah,
Reece
did.
Robson did not have the best game.
Mm.
Dylan Edwards was solid, but like I feel like we needed something. You know, Hamaso has that X factor. I feel like Dylan Edwards is so
Yeah.
like
I feel like
safe
Dylan's
to the point where
slowly.
we need something. Not
Yeah.
It was literally form versus favoritism. That's all it was. Queensland are the most
Yeah.
informed.
100%.
Hammer is probably one of the most informed fullbacks right now, killing it at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And again, even the size difference between Coates going up against Toto, like, come on, man. What do you?
I just want to. I want to ask you guys something here because Cleary's played 3 Origin deciders. He's won 0.
Yeah.
Mitchell Moses single-handedly won us Origin last year in Game 3. So my question here is, if Moses is fully fit next year, Cleary's fully fit next year, and say Luai's carving up, he already has the 6 jersey. Moses or Cleary?
Well,
Moses.
even though Luai would be carving up, I would still give Cleary and Moses. You saw what happened in game 1. I'm sorry, but you would. I don't like Luai.
Elijah, I think the question is if you had to pick one,
Well,
you
I
had to pick
wouldn't. I
one,
wouldn't
then who
pick
would you
one.
pick?
That's my
Moses.
answer. I feel like there's no scenario in my head where you would pick one. I feel like you'd pick both. But if I had to, it's whoever's playing best at the time. If you're gonna go based on form, that's why you pick
That's on form. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're
Okay.
based on
Best
form-
on form now. You're playing game 3 again, right? You have to pick Moses. Moses is fully fit and he's going off the form we know from this season, right? Are you picking Moses or Cleary?
Picking Moses, because when Moses was in form, Penrith were last, and Clear was playing dog
Wait,
shit.
so
Or
could
was he
I
injured?
debate the fact here?
I don't
Could
know.
I debate the fact here if Kyle Flanagan's in good form, he's contention for
saying.
Origin
Like, it
7?
doesn't-
I'm asking for a friend. Like JC just wants me to ask. He just messaged me then. He wants me to ask. Is Kyle Flanagan the 7 next year?
But if Hugo Savala's in form as well, then it's his jersey.
Yeah.
What about
Jesus.
what about
Oh,
what about
Jesus.
I'll throw another name out
Katoa.
there. Katoa.
Isaiah
There you go.
Katoa.
Katoa.
Yeah, I
The
don't think you'd throw Katoa in at a decider. I think
Yeah,
he's
but
more of a game
game
1,
one,
see how he goes. If it doesn't
me-
work, change it up.
I think if I was Laurie Daly, and I don't want to be Laurie Daly because I don't even want him to be the coach. I'm sorry to keep it frank, but
Katoa and Moses.
my
Ooh.
go-to would be Moses and Cleary, and I don't know. Isaiah Katoa was definitely knocking on the door. I don't think Luai.
Yeah, look at that. That's a
Yeah, well,
hard
trademark.
pairing.
Shout out to
Katoa
Trademark.
and Moses.
Introducing your 2026 New
That's a
South Wales Blue
hard
Cars.
pairing.
Katoa and Moses.
I have a question, boys.
That's a
I
hard
have a
Cleary's
question.
got the. Cleary's
So
got
wait,
the
I was
spotlight.
thinking about this today. Yeah. I had a thought today, but I'll let Alex go. I just want to ask you guys something. But yeah, Alex, go.
Okay. I'll try and make this quick. Right. Forward rotation. What did we think about Max King only getting 22 minutes?
Max King
And-
shouldn't be in Origin. That's
And
that's
Liam Martin.
He
Liam
shouldn't
Martin
be there
injured.
anyways.
Liam Martin
Liam
injured,
Martin injured.
playing 67
Yeah,
minutes when you had
his
Hudson
finger.
Young on the
He
bench.
dislocated his finger and he kept going.
What happened to Liam Martin? Did he dislocate his finger? I
Yeah.
didn't
He
see
did
that.
I think it was his wrist or something. I think it was his
Oh,
wrist.
his finger, I swear, is
No,
fucking
I didn't
unknown.
even-
Anyways.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
Well,
but he was injured.
Well, Dylan, do you think Max King should remain in this side next year?
I think hindsight's a wonderful thing. You know, coming into game 1, I think a lot of people did celebrate his selection, and he did pretty good in game 1. But look, I don't think he's probably warranted reselection, especially when we talk about having guys like Terrell May and Keon Kaloamatangi. I'd still have him there ahead of Stefano Ujikamanu, in my opinion. I'm not really sure why Stefano was there so much in the first place, but Keon, Terrell May, pair that with the likes of Payne Haas and Yo in the middle rotation.
And-
I'm happy with that.
And you forget someone that's coming back from injury, Mitchell Barnett. He was a big loss.
He was killing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
But I guess
hard.
we're going to revisit
Well-
this conversation next year when the time comes
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, you said you wanted to
What happened?
ask something.
Yeah, so I was thinking today, we'll go back to the coaching question here. So, everyone knows how Craig Bellamy's in the coaching staff, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, Bellamy has 1 year left at Melbourne. He's just re-signed for 1 year. He could go again. He does this every year. He does a year extension every year. Do we think this is building up for when he's done with Melbourne, he takes over as the Blues coach?
I don't think so.
Bloody hope so.
I hope so, but I don't think these 1 year extensions are a sign of him, building up to be the coach. I just genuinely think he's trying to see how much he has left in the tank, and he's calling it quits. I
Mm.
think in
So,
terms
well,
of
Origin's 3 games a year. Like
He'd want to
3
win
games a
one
year
more
to 24 is
premiership.
different.
But yeah, 100%.
I guess
I reckon he wants the Melbourne Storm to go all the way one last time, and
Yeah.
he's going to try and do that, obviously. And
When he does
That's
that,
what he's
that's
waiting
when
for,
he'll
I
call
think.
it quits.
Yeah.
He'll keep extending until he wins a comp with Melbourne, and then he says, "I'm out."
yeah, 'cause
Now-
Which I
2020
respect.
kept re-signing after 2020, and fuck, last year was just
I
bullshit.
bet you if they won the comp last year, he would have called it quits.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I reckon.
I-
So what
now-
happens if they win the comp this year? He's signed
Then-
for next year. You reckon just go again?
I don't know.
Round 2?
I don't know.
Go one more round? Because they can win the
Release
comp
him
this year.
early. I don't know.
So now we'll segue into the main reason of this podcast. The Sydney Roosters up against the St George Illawarra Dragons. Now, we were supposed to have Retro
one.
Rugby League, but unfortunately he couldn't make it today.
That's all right.
So we have the league here isolated as a lone Roosters fan. So you have a lot of work to do here, Dill. But I want to ask you, that game against the Tigers, that definitely shocked me. And I know you guys were missing 5 odd Origin players, but Tigers, they're not doing well as it is. So, and the fact that they were missing, Luai, and you know what I mean? It was disappointing to say the least. How did you sum up that game, Dill?
Yeah, I was very shocked, for sure. We did have a lot of players out, as you say, that they did as well. And we've had really, really good wins in the past without a lot of those Origin guys. We smashed the Sharks up in Central Coast, for example. It was a game that we just didn't ever really have control over, but it's one that I'm really, really concerned about, that we look back on at the end of the year and think, if we miss the 8 by 2 points, that's the game right there. Because after this Dragons game, and this relates to the game that's coming up this week, we have Sharks away, Storm, Manly away, Dolphins away, and Bulldogs. That is really tough. It basically means that this game for the Roosters up against you guys is must win. I know you'll probably be saying the same thing for your Dragons, and rightly so, but this is a huge, huge game in the context of the season for both of these teams. It's massive.
Yeah.
I reckon this will be game of the round. I'm putting my early prediction in because they're both basically playing for a spot. I reckon they'll both come out full guns blazing, and this game will shock a lot of people. I reckon this could honestly have potential to be such a good game.
Now Dragons boys. Now
2023. Remember that.
I wish I could forget.
Here come the Dragons.
My God.
Here come the Dragons. Oh yes.
Come the
I
Dragons.
remember that.
That's honestly still one of my favorite games. One of
So
Dill,
good,
actually, I
man.
want to ask you, Dill, where were you for that game where Matt Feeney
So
scored
good.
the buzzer?
I was right
I
next to
wasn't
him.
at the game. I wasn't at the game. My father was, though, and I'll never forget calling him after the game. He was speechless, in shock. And he said, "That's it. I'm never going to a game at
good.
Cogra again. I can't do it anymore."
So good.
Tell
It
you
was
what.
so good.
Thinking about the game, we were up 14-0. Then you guys took the lead. Then Seward took the lead. Then I remember Sully caught the ball.
Tedesco. Yeah.
Tedesco stripped it
Tedesco.
off him.
Yeah.
He scored with about 3 minutes to go. At that point, I
Yeah.
remember my dad standing up because we were in the stands. My dad was standing up. I was like, Dad, hang on. There's still a set to go. There was 30 seconds to go. I say
That's
Sloan
insane.
put up this kick. I'm like, Sloan, what
Oh
the
my God.
F are you doing?
Oh my God. Oh my
It
God.
looked like the
Insane.
biggest shocker of a kick.
You see Ben Hunt, he
Oh,
was like
it was
a bounce from- What a bounce that was.
Horrible.
Do you know what makes it
It was
funnier?
horrible.
Yeah.
Do you know the
It was a
funniest
bounce.
part of it? Wait, who was our interim coach? Ryan Carr, was it?
That was his
Ryan
first
Carr, 'cause we
game.
Yeah.
haven't won for like
It was his
6
first game.
weeks.
The best thing is we had snapped a losing streak, and I remember when they had awarded a try, and it panned over to him, and he gets
He was
G up,
banging
he
the
goes,
thing.
"Fuck off!" and he's like slaps the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah, I remember
like,
that.
oh,
I remember
so
that was so good. But I'm going to be honest, going into that game, I was quietly confident because I swear there's a thing. I don't know if it's still going. The week after, so say a coach gets sacked mid-year, next week, the team always wins.
Picks up.
Yeah, actually, in 2020,
It
when
happened, yeah.
when
I was-
McGregor got sacked, Dean Young's when he was the interim coach, we beat Brisbane.
on his first game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we won by 4 against Brisbane
Yeah.
at Suncorp Stadium. Which is one of the many wins we had against Broncos in the last few years. Which further emphasizes our ownership of the Broncos. But that's not the point, Alex. My thing is that,
Oh.
my thing is that I think this game, I feel like same boat as Dill. I feel like this game was a game where you look back and you're like, oh, we should have won. But that's with a lot of games, Rabbits, Eels, Warriors, Tigers. Now this game, I don't want to say we were robbed because I don't like using we were robbed. But you think
Yeah.
about that forward pass I got, that try that got disallowed because of the forward pass. Let's be 100%
We were
for it.
robbed.
The try.
We were
I
robbed.
was
That
100%
that
and
pass
I
from
was
Shigasaki to coach was 10 times more forward than that pass that Sully did to Sloan.
yeah.
Let's be so for real. And the fact that
I don't know how.
it's
Go.
No, I'm just saying
I
that
don't.
I was pissed off.
I
I was.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Right, the bunker has so many cameras, so many angles, so many TVs. How can you not rule a forward pass, man? How, honestly, how? If it goes so far forward, surely you're able to see it.
Yeah.
I can't
They need
believe all the
bloody drone.
technology this league has,
Yeah.
and they can't afford to get like some form of line technology, kind of like VAR or
Yeah.
something, to
They literally
determine
have a
the
drone at Suncorp at every bloody
Yeah.
game, just goes
It's
everywhere,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
could not
not
see
acceptable.
some
And
of
for
the
Gerard
forwards.
Sutton, I think he's the longest tenured like referee or one of the bro. He's been coaching since I was in the womb, bro. He's been a coach for a ref for
A ref.
ages.
Mm.
But the fact that he's not able to make those simple calls, his position that he was in, there's no way in hell you could tell that was a forward pass or a back pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact
That
that
was
he
the touchy that made that call. The touchy made the call and said forward.
didn't.
He
Okay,
stopped. Yeah.
well, I don't know.
But Jared Sutton, yeah, I still don't like him. I don't blame Bulldogs fans for throwing bottles at him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can condone that.
No, don't condone that, but I don't blame him.
No. Now the game this week. How are we feeling? Now I'm gonna let's actually go through the team list for both sides. Now, I'll get you quickly get up the Roosters. I'm gonna read the Dragons team list. You get up the Roosters team list while I'm doing this, so we can kind of go through the ins and the outs of the team. So our fullback, we have Clint Gutherson. On the wings, we have Terrell Sloan and Sione Finau, who both retain the wing spots. In the centers, Moses Sully and Holmes is back from Origin. Our halves, Larkin King, Tonya, and Flano. Can I say something? Kyle Flanagan actually had a decent game yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, last week.
Last week.
Actually had a decent
Half
game.
decent.
And he's
Good.
that Eels game, first half it was good. Now I feel like he's getting better each and every. If we're able to get that performance from him they did against Canberra consistently, JC will shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I think
JC's
he
playing
watches-
in form.
He probably watches the videos.
Sometimes I make a
he's-
shit.
So we have Emre Gula, who played 25 minutes and had 8 meters. Outstanding contribution on the weekend from Gula.
Wow.
Damien Cook,
Jesus.
Clemmer, Luch, Saw, DeBellin, and the bench. I actually like this bench. Jacob Little, Hamish Stewart is back. Blake Law, I can't believe I'm saying I'm so happy Blake Lawry's in this side because he's actually been very good this season. I
He's
remember
finding his form again.
when I remember for Line Break Sports when I did our first podcast, I had a rant on Blake Lawry, and ever since then he hasn't had a bad game. Genuinely,
Yeah.
he hasn't had a bad game. So I'm not going to say what that would be so narcissistic of me, and I'll just be lying if I said he watched a 70 follower podcast, But I'm a bit for ever since I had that rant. He's been good. I had a rant about Billy Walters at the end of last season, and he's been killing it. So,
I'm killing it.
Have more rants.
and Marco Molo, who's really good, retains his spot.
Yeah, true. He was unreal.
So, I actually don't mind this guy. I actually quite like it, honestly. I think it's probably the best team we could field out. With injuries, we have tons of injuries.
100%.
But what can you do? Dill,
I'm just Dylan.
would you like to read out the Roosters team list?
I sure would. For the mighty Red, White, and Bluesters, we've got, of course, James Tedesco in at fullback. On the wings, Daniel Tupou and Mark Nwangani Tuase. Centre pairing of Billy Smith and Queensland Origin legend Robert Toyer. In the halves, Sam Walker comes back at halfback. Finally, that's long overdue. And interestingly, Hugo Savala takes a spot at 6 over Sanders Smith. Controversial. Forwards, got Nafahu White. and Collins in the front row, Crichton and Fiketti in the back row, Connor Watson at lock, Connor Watson at hooker, Radley at lock, and a bench that I think is sort of in some way similarly structured to yours. We've got Zach Docker-Clay in at 14, Blake Steep, the chin, in at 15, Egan Butcher at 16, and Spencer Leniu at 17. It's pretty much the best side, definitely that we could field right now. We've got Siwa Wong and Nat Butcher out injured, but this is really close to full strength.
I said on the Dragons group chat that we have, I said as soon as I came out, I said, "Geez, Roosters have a good team." I can't lie, Mark Nwanga scares the crap out of me. Last time we played in Anzac Day, I don't want to bring
for revenge.
That was embarrassing, but he killed us. And you can say, thank goodness that Sandon Smith's not on the team, but it's not like they got any worse. Sam Walker. Sandon Smith, I think it was 2020, 2021 and 2020, maybe it was, I don't know, a few Anzac Day games, Sam Walker kills us every single year. And when he was ruled out for that game, I was like, all right. We just came off a back of a really good victory against Manly. I was like, I'm confident. No, Sandon Smith turns into the next coming of bloody Thurston. It's unfair. Sam Walker hates us.
He turned Brett Fittler.
He made the post game player of the match. You made him Andrew Johns. I remember that.
But Sam Walker genuinely, he hates us. Like he actually does. He hates us. But yeah, Roosters have a gun team.
It's a big game.
I want to give credit to the Roosters for how well they're doing, because a lot of people like Penrith started putting a line through their name the way the season started, especially round one. I mean, Brisbane killed yous, but you got revenge on them, and I think the Roosters are look, I'm not going to jinx anybody, but Billy Smith, I'm happy to see that he's actually staying healthy. Like, he is a gun of a player. I don't really like when centers shoot up out of the line because a lot of the time they miss it and it costs them, but he times his defense so well and he'll just smack you. Like, just great defense. He's a great player. I got to give credit to the Roosters for that one.
Holmes is going to put Angus Crichton in a coffin again. Just putting that out there.
As soon as that happened, I said it's going to be the other way around. I said Crichton's going to
kill him.
Now,
loses form in club level.
Now, Dill, do you agree with the move of Hugo Savala wearing that 6 jersey over a guy like Sandon Smith? Because Savala's been killing it, but Sandon Smith is Sandon Smith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a tough one, and they are completely different players. I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong choice to make. It's just which way you want to play the game. Our issue in years gone by, we've had just an incredible team on paper, but the halves combination of Luke Keary and Sam Walker, who are both great players, but neither of them can kick long. And you look at an era where you've got Nathan Cleary doing so well. His kicking game is great. We talk about Matt Burton and that. Hugo Savala has that. So I've clearly made a decision. We need a long kicking game. Let's get Savala in there. Let Walker do his thing, dictate terms, and hope that works for us. And I definitely believe in that game plan.
As a team like the Dragons, who are struggling to have a kicker that can go long, we need a guy like Hugo Savala. Obviously, he's not going to leave the Roosters, but geez, it's bittersweet to see all these young guys with a kicking game. Like, I love King Tonga. I love him, but he's a six. He doesn't have that long kicking game. Flanagan, obviously with the criticisms of him and his kicking game, I just feel like the Dragons in the off-season need to get, I don't know who we're going to sign because every halfback is taken, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. Now, boys.
Either way, Flanagan will be there.
That's probably cool. Now we're going to go around and ask. I'll ask all you boys your tips for the match, your score prediction, and give us a try score from both teams.
All right.
Julian, take the stage, brother.
All right, so this game, we all know what happened last time. It could come back to us. But look, we do get flogged at Anzac. We get humbled.
And Origin.
We haven't won that in a few years, and we're looking for some revenge. And I'm gonna go, obviously, Dragons here. I'm gonna go. Wow, they're paying $2.55 compared to $1.52. That's insane. So they're definitely not favourites. I'm gonna go Dragons. 20-14. Another close one.
Yep.
But
Hey Julian, what were Queensland's odds again? You guys have still got hope. We were $2.94.
Oi, Alex,
gee,
Alex,
quiet.
Alex. 30 points to 26. All right, Julian, continue. Please continue.
anytime I'd go an easy go and put one of the wingers, but Sully is so due for a try, man.
I know, man.
It's every week.
And last time against the Roosters in Cogra, he ran the full field, pretty much. And he's due for a try. Enough tries. He's gonna get through.
Yeah.
Right.
Julian,
That's
and
it for me.
wait, did you say someone for the Roosters?
Oh shit. I didn't.
Go quickly.
I'm gonna go Robert Toya.
Robert Toya. All right.
Probably give it to Val Holmes.
Deal?
Yeah, I do think again it will be a tight one. As Julian has said, I think last week you guys showed a lot of ticker down in Canberra. I think we really didn't show ticker in the game against the Tigers, but we always tend to time our run really, really well coming into the back end of the season. I'm optimistic. I do think it will be the Roosters by that sort of 1 to 12-ish margin. I'll say scoreline, I don't know, 26-18. I think that sounds about right. Try scorers for my mighty Sydney Roosters cannot look past Sam Walker on return. That would just be poetry.
Okay.
For the Dragons, though, it's Try July. There's the iconic try celebration of the Gutherino. I feel like I haven't seen it in a very long time. Although I don't want you to score any points, if you do score through Gutherson, at least there's going to be some cinema about it. So I'll go with him.
Yep. Alex.
I am impartial in this game. However, I'm still going the Roosters. I definitely think I can see them scoring more. I can definitely see they're a better team, but I wouldn't count the Dragons out. I think it's going to be close. Similar to Dylan, I'm going to put it at 24-18. I did have that beforehand, so I'm not copying, just similar. And I'm going to have Tedesco to score, and I didn't pick a Dragons player. So I'm going to go. I can Carl Flanagan go over again. Pick him.
Yep.
I like that.
Jackson?
3 games in a row for Kyle.
Hey,
Four.
can I go?
Yeah, Jackson, you go.
All right. I just want to reiterate before I say this. I love this team, but
Yeah.
the Roosters are going to get us. So I'm going to back the Roosters.
Hang on.
I'm going to back the Roosters.
Wait. Can I do? I'm going to quickly say something because Jackson knows exactly what I'm going to say. Before we were friends, Jackson used to hate on me because I picked the Dolphins and the Sharks against the Dragons. I don't care. Jackson thought I was going to let this slide. Jackson used to hate on me, and he DM'd me privately and was going off. You're not a real Dragons fan. How dare you tip the other team? How dare
Did him in
you
the
tip
bum
the other
now.
team? So I'll tell you what, Jackson, I'll tell you what, I'm going to clip this up. You can get what JC gives and hard. All right, go.
Nah, respect, brother. You picked the right one. Let's go.
All right, well, I'm finishing this before I get absolutely abused. All right. I'm going to go Roosters. I can't think of a score. I'll get my try scorers first. I'm going to go Tedesco. He always scores against us. I feel like it's just a traditional thing now. Tedesco loves a try against the Dragons. So I'll go Tedesco. And I'll go Luciano Leilua. I think he's up against Fiketti, so he could get a bit of a, I don't know. I think he's a bit faster than Fiketti, so he could slide through a hole a bit easier. And I'll just go Roosters 14-12. I reckon it'll be like really close.
No, mate. Dragons.
All right, it's all right. Matty?
Nah.
That's insane.
Oh, no, this is good. No, hold on. I just want to reiterate here. Every time I back against them, we win. So just let this slide, okay? This is my plan.
Jackson, I don't care. I don't care. You used to hate on me,
slide.
bro. All right, go, Jackson.
Let this slide.
Matty, you go now.
All right. I think Dragons are going to win 32-8. Mark Gasnier is going to score first. Oh, sorry, wrong game. So I'll be serious. No, Dragons are going to win. I've got them to win 18-16, very close. Try scorers. I'm going to go with the Roosters. I think James Tedesco. I know it's a bit of an obvious pick, but it happens every time. So Tedesco. And for the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, I've kind of been bullied into tipping the Dragons by Jackson. But no, I don't care. I'll tip the Dragons either way. I don't know why I'm getting this exact feeling that I got when we beat them last time at Cogra. I reckon both teams will get up, but I think Dragons will. If anyone, Jackson can ask. When I think Dragons will lose, I'll tip against them. I'm getting this feeling. Maybe it's my
See?
sickness that I got right now. I'm getting this feeling.
You're
But
still sick.
I've been sick for a month. Can I just say that? I think I've like.
Wow. You need to see a doctor.
Yeah, I did. They didn't say anything. That's not the point.
Julian needs to go to
Anyway.
Specsavers.
I think Dragons will snatch them. I'm getting a feeling. I'm gonna say 26 or 26 points. 26 points to 20. With my try scorers, I'm gonna get Sione Fina to cross over. And from the Roosters, going through the team list, I think the Fanu White will cross over. The forwards.
He's a solid player. What a
He
player.
Is- Love
Anyway,
him.
boys.
I really thought when Jared retired, like Collins was going to be the man to take the mantra, but it's
Nafanu
been
White's
Nafahu White.
He's been nothing.
Hey, do you want to swap him? Do you want to swap him from Gula?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so good. I'm so good, bro. That's all right.
It was worth a try. Sorry, mate.
Anyway, boys, that's going to wrap up the 7th episode of the Saints podcast. If you did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment down below which other guests you would like on the podcast, which other Dragons ex-premiership winner you want on the podcast. We have some very big plans coming on soon.
Michael Wayman.
But yeah, anyway, guys, enjoy and peace out. Up the Saints.
Up
Go
the
Dragons.
Saints. Let's go.